So we're all set for the last match of this second day of our live coverage. The Qatar ExxonMobil Open, 20th anniversary of this illustrious event. And a handful of the ex-champions have made it back this year to help us celebrate. Of course, Gael Monfils would dearly love to add his name to that illustrious list of former champions. Fabrice Santoro amongst them. Nicolas Escudé as well, also hailing from France. Monfils won the toss and elected to receive. So it'll be Machado
ready
to get us underway.
Play.
Always dangerous to drop the ball short against Monfils because he's got some serious firepower off both the forehand and the backhand, but particularly the former. He's got his camouflage on this evening, it's blending in nicely to the backdrop there. Might be tough for Machado to pick him out. It's a sensible serve that. Monfils likes to have a lot of room to hit those big ground strokes, take big cuts at the ball. So if you can handcuff him, serve into the hips, it's always effective. Very important when you're the underdog to find your range as quickly as possible. That one a little wild. It's another loose forehand, and he's in trouble here in his opening service game. Two break points. That's a good start as far as the Frenchman's concerned. A little bit of a nightmare for Machado. Now can Monfils build on this early lead? A couple of decent serves. Been joined in the commentary box by Barry Cowan, so I'll be alongside him for the remainder of this opening set.
Yeah, Jason, and certainly what was apparent when Monfils came on the corner, was courtside while he was warming up, how focused he was.
Yeah, right from when he literally walked out onto the court, you could see he had his game face on, couldn't you? And that's the best possible way to back up a break of serve, to hold as quickly as that. Just 42 seconds, and it's Monfils now with a 2-love lead.
Yeah, you compare that to the Portuguese #1. He looked terrified. Looked very nervous.
Yeah, it's been a shaky start. Needs a decent service game here to help settle those nerves. That's a much better rally. Works the point well.
15.
I was just saying, Barry, that probably done him a favour playing this late, because a lot of the crowd have had to leave. Had it been packed, the majority of the fans would have got behind Monfils, and perhaps he would have been even more nervous.
I think sometimes, though, if you the lower rank play, it's almost worse to play in an empty stadium.
I guess sometimes you feel a bit cheated, don't you? You look at the order of play. I'm on centre. I'm up against Monfils. It's going to be brilliant, and it's just like playing in qualies. Yeah, again, it's a nervous serve, isn't it? If you're going to miss, you're going to miss it long or wide. But he's chasing the ball toss there. I know what that feels like. One or two hardy fans have stayed the course. Need something to cheer.
That's a good forehand. Showing his clay court skills.
Talking about that yesterday when Filippo Volandri was playing, and Machado is another one who much prefers to be playing on a clay, doesn't he?
None of these players have allergies to hard courts, do they?
Yeah, he's only had 2 wins throughout the course of his career on this particular surface at the highest level. That's good stuff, giving the fans something to cheer. It's Monfils who leads 2-1.
Working with national oil companies in energy production, chemicals, and refining, we help power enterprise and fuel economies. We believe in looking beyond today by fostering tomorrow's innovations.
Yeah, he had a good record at challenger level last season. Won a lot of matches there, 41 in fact, just 14 losses, so picked up a couple of titles along the way. But it's hard to make the adjustment, isn't it?
Especially the way he plays, because he's a good, solid player, but he doesn't really have the firepower. So for Machado to be the top 50 player, he's going to have to rely on them having a bad day.
Doesn't always pan out, that, does it?
No.
Time.
What I'd like to see from Monfils this evening, for me, he's going to win the match, whatever. But to just have a go and be a bit more aggressive. These are the matches you need to try to experiment.
Oh, it's a lovely little shot. But let's talk a little bit more about that then, because, you know, Monfils, great junior, former world #1, 3 of the 4 Grand Slams in his final season as a junior, and he certainly had highlights as a senior. But I think a lot of us feel that he hasn't quite fulfilled his potential yet.
That's a great point. That really is. Yeah, and the answer to your question, Jason, I've always felt with Monfils, I don't think he realizes how good a tennis player he could be. You know, and the strengths and the attributes that he has at his disposal, because he doesn't use them as often as he should do. He's got a great serve, great forehand. We know about his movement, his athleticism.
So what about improvements then throughout the course of this season? What would you like to see?
His intensity. Day in, day out. And to play his tennis just like that, on the baseline.
So with intensity, are you talking about a greater hunger to win matches or better concentration?
Better application. Because I think he's a winner. You know, there's no doubt that he likes winning, but I think sometimes he just drifts in and out. You know, I always judge a great player that can they win matches, can they win events when they're not playing particularly well. I mean, like Federer tonight, well, that's easy, isn't it? But when you're coming out and you're not quite timing the ball, and it can be a struggle, just knuckle down and win those matches.
Like Tsonga did earlier.
Absolutely. Like Murray does, time and time again.
Yeah, that's what separates the great players from the great competitors, isn't it? And of course, you have to be a great competitor to win major titles or be consistent throughout the course of a season.
Well, Jason, you asked me yesterday which one of the 2 players I'd rather coach. If you were a sparring coach, Monfils would be the player you'd want to work with, but he could drive you to despair.
Well, you know, I've had a lot of conversations with Roger Rashid in the past, you know, when he used to work with Monfils, and, you know, he said exactly that. You'd have a really good discussion with him before the match about what he wanted to do out there on the match court, and then do the exact opposite, you know. And that does drive you nuts, doesn't it? Good smash, because I've watched him a lot and I love watching him play. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes he does get it right and he's nice and aggressive and he uses the athletic attributes that he has to good effect. But then on other occasions he'll go out and just play from 12, 14 feet behind a baseline, just slicing forehands and just scrambling balls back into court, and completely different to how he played in the previous match, and I don't get it. He's definitely getting better season upon season, though, and he's enjoying sort of spearheading the French Davis Cup team, taking on that additional responsibility.
That actually is a good point, Jason, because they've got a chance to win it this year. You know, the fact that Spain are not as competitive as they have been in the past because Nadal and Ferrer aren't playing. Of course, I think Federer is going to play, but with the French team, I mean, if he was to win the Davis Cup, that might be the boost he needs.
Proved to be the case as far as the Serbians are concerned, didn't it? Djokovic, Tipsarevic and Troitsky all enjoyed their best seasons thereafter. French, of course, taking on the Canadians in their own backyard. They're playing on an ice court, so that should give the Canadians a little bit of an advantage there. 3-2, first set, Monfils.
And playing on ice, no doubt, if it's Raonic.
Exactly.
They're polishing it already.
Not using tennis balls, pucks. Giving themselves a home court advantage.
It was sold out in something like 30 minutes, that tie.
Yeah, yeah. Did you see the advertising campaign for it?
No.
Raonic is on his big poster, and he says, hey guys, I can serve at 151 miles an hour. Try returning that with a baguette. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That's brilliant.
It's pretty cool. It's really good. And I think, that's what you got to do, have a bit of fun with it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great opportunity. Raonic, one of those guys we've got to keep an eye on this season, because if he didn't get injured Wimbledon last year, he was going to go on to great things in the second half of the season. I was sure of it. So I watched him play a lot early on. He's one of these guys that actually can play well on clay too. So he's developing his game well.
Well, the way he's been serving, this must be in, because he's yet to miss one.
Just right.
All good runs come to an end.
What a lovely little lob that was.
15 love.
He lost the point, Machado, but he can't be too disappointed the way he played it. Everything right, constructed it beautifully, good volley.
Let's go back a little bit to the Monfils serve, because often he gets a very high percentage of first serves in, and you've already remarked upon the fact that he's got a good first serve. Good hands, incredible athleticism there to hit that while he was falling backwards. But do you think he goes for his first serves enough? Do you think perhaps against the best players in the world he should sacrifice that first serve percentage for slightly more effectiveness?
100% agree with you. I think too often he just gets up there and hits the serve instead of actually thinking, okay, what do I need to do here? The serve could be so much better. I mean, why not? He's such a flexible and loose arm. He should be able to generate consistently 135 and kick it as well.
Yeah, modelled a serve, didn't he, on Roddick as a junior. A lot of similarities there. Can't serve quite as hard as the American, though.
That's a devastating return. Just easy power. The shot before, the forehand, is an area that I feel he needs to improve, because he actually could have come inside the baseline. He ended up taking a step back behind.
Yeah, sometimes his hands are so good that he can get away with being in a poor position instead of concentrating on getting into a really good position and hitting aggressively.
Certainly it seems that the umpire's scorecard is broken. Oh, now it's back working. It was about 3 points behind.
Have to take a few risks. Got to make sure you do so at the right time.
Problem with the Portuguese #1, he doesn't get anything from his serve, really.
Yeah, again, brought up on the clay, used to just using it as a way to start the rally. Perhaps outmaneuver the opponent, but not really generating any pace. And of course, he's not particularly tall. That's a phenomenal backhand. A really good position there, just inside the baseline. And again, the footwork was outstanding. Gave him a really good platform to work from.
Advantage Monfils.
That type of shots that in the challenger level he probably wouldn't take on. He'd probably just go back cross court, but always wary of the threat of Monfils either hitting the backhand or running around the backhand and an explosive forehand.
Another chance to break here. It's a good point that you make. There is a significant difference, isn't there, in terms of what wins you matches at challenger level and what wins you matches on the tour. And that's why making that transition is so very difficult. If you're used to relying upon consistency to win your matches at challenger level, suddenly it's very difficult when you need to try and boss points at this level. Good tennis.
Advantage match.
He has really with the way he plays. That he started tentatively, you probably expect that, but now he's playing really well, aggressively, but he's a breakdown. So it's tough for that type of player to be able to work your way back in the match after losing your serve early.
Guys are all such good front runners. Davydenko struggled when he lost his opening service game. That's why Malik Jaziri did so well earlier on against Jo-Wilfried Songa, because he hung with him at the beginning of the match. Served him well. That was a good game. Nice hold in the end. It's Monfils, though, still has a slender lead. One break of serve still separating the two.
What did you make of Davydenko, Jason?
Yeah, I thought he was poor.
Because he looked, from where I was sitting, he was getting so frustrated. He kept looking over to his brother, sort of saying, why? Why is this happening?
Well, I'll tell you, I watched his practice the other day, and it was a similar scenario. He wasn't happy with the way he was hitting the ball in practice, and he's lost all his confidence. And, you know, everyone was talking about it being a tough draw for Federer, but of course it was a nightmare for Davydenko as well, because he wasn't allowed to get any kind of rhythm. And, you know, I have this image in my mind of him playing well, being so aggressive, standing on the baseline. And today, you know, he was just getting pushed back deeper and deeper. He's not a great defender, certainly not where he wants to play the majority of his tennis. So he's really struggling.
Good thing for Davydenko might be to just drop back into the challenges. Just start winning matches. You know, he'll always win 1 or 2 matches on the tour, but to actually win an event.
Well, especially for someone like him, who likes to win a lot of matches historically. It's a nice little shots there.
15-0.
Machado getting the ball to the Frenchman's feet, and that just meant that that shot was just a little more difficult for him. That's a good response. I know that earlier, Barry, you were talking about wanting to see Philip Kohlschreiber serve and volley a little more when he was under pressure, especially after hitting that slider out wide. And it's nice to see Monfils doing so when he desperately needs a point.
It's something that I can't seem to fathom out. You hear a lot of players say, can't serve and volley. Well, you can't serve and volley first and second serve the whole time, but why can't you serve and volley once a game? I mean, especially if you look at someone like Rafa, who's chiseling the return back.
It's a good effort. I couldn't agree more. I mean,
It wasn't so long ago that Tommy Haas played semi-final Wimbledon with not the biggest first or second serve, and he was serving volley mostly first and second.
I was in Valencia last year, watched Granollers play really well, win the tournament, having made the final the previous year, serving and volleying most of the time. Now, you can't do it all the time, as Monfils did there, but there's no question, doesn't matter what the speed of the course is, or what kind of balls you're playing with, it can still be an effective tactic.
Yeah.
You know, you've just got to mix it up, keep your opponent guessing, and come in behind a decent serve where the returner's just bunted the ball back in play. But too many players are afraid to do so, and when they don't learn how to serve and volley at an early age, they find it intimidating. They think they're going to get passed all the time. Very negative way of looking at the situation. It's tough to pass all the time. I'd love to get your thoughts on the tactic of taking the return and coming in, because I'm a big fan of that. Again, you don't do it all the time. You don't start chipping and charging and stamping your feet and waving your hands around, but you do it occasionally.
Yeah. Well, it's the one area of the game that has gone backwards in the last 20 years is the second serve, because when players were serving volleying second serve, they had to have a good second serve. Now, a few of the players, they just roll it in. I mean, I can never understand that with Correa. You know, Correa just rolling the second serve in, and players are like starting the rally.
Yeah.
That's what he wants.
Yeah.
And Andy Murray, you know, for his great player that he is, second serve is poor.
Thomas Berdych, another one.
Yeah, you know where it's going.
Need to improve that second serve if you're going to live with the big boys. as I mentioned earlier, when you're looking at ways in which you can possibly hurt Novak Djokovic, there aren't too many holes in his game, but it's not the best second serve in the world. So you've got to try and take that ball on.
Shortest ball of the rally.
Oh! 40-15.
Speaking of decent second serves, Barry, who's got the best in the world at the moment?
Karlovic.
It's not bad, is it? It's not bad. Those guys just hit first serves, 2 first serves. That's a decent serve right there. And he has played well after a shaky start. Not quite as nervous as he was initially. Still Monfils with a slender lead. The Frenchman leads 5-4. Let's take the big guys out of the equation, those that are 6-6 and over. What about those where we're talking about a more legitimate second serve, when there's a bigger difference between the first and the second?
Roddick had a great second serve.
Yeah, I agree.
His second serve when he was in his pomp was awesome.
And also, when you're talking about Roddick, when stepping up to the line, is he went for his first serve, but he got a high percentage of first serves in, so he very rarely had to go to it. But when he did, it was really good. A lot of work on that ball.
And Federer's second serve has improved a lot. I remember a few years ago when he lost to Safin, and he also lost to Nalbandian in the Masters Cup. I mean, he was injured with his ankle, but his second serve got hammered a bit, but he's improved it.
Time.
Heading towards the business end of this opening set. It's the 4th match of the day here on Centre Court, day 2 of our live coverage. The Qatar ExxonMobil Open 2012. Gael Monfils looking to pocket the opening set here at 5-4.
15.
It's a decent start.
Third 40-11.
Good numbers in the opening set on serve. Only missed 3 first serves, and
It's a lot of options, hasn't it, behind the serve? We've seen him serve and volley a little bit, stay at the back of the court and dominate with the ground strokes. Only occasionally, like he did there, getting in trouble. Still set point.
And these last 2 points, symbolic of the problems of Monfils. Up 40 love, he serve and volleys, but doesn't serve and volley, kind of walks to the net. A loose error there. He's back to 40-30 now. He'll probably win the game because it's Machado, but against the top tenor.
Well, if you don't do it right here, it's going to be tougher to do it right against a better player. And there you are. A little bit of luck, and suddenly he's in trouble at deuce. Nice anticipation from Machado.
As you would expect, he's competed really well. Machado. That's a fine pass.
Yeah, he shouldn't need the loss of 3 points there to refocus Monfils. get the job done at the first time of asking. Oh, that's a brilliant little shot. Didn't have too many options there because didn't really have an angle to play with. So wonderful ball striking.
The only danger of going straight at an opponent who's about 5 inches taller and has got about 50 miles per hour more on the serve.
And here we go.
Advantage Machado.
I'll tell you what, deserves a break of serve. He's fought hard in this opening set. Shown a really good attitude after a nervy start.
Machado.
Footwork and a horrible game, really. Had the set done and dusted at 40 love. And all of a sudden, it's 5 games apiece, but it's nothing more than Machado deserves. Certainly in terms of endeavour throughout the course of this opening set.
That's a really disappointing game from Monfils after starting the match with good focus, good intensity. Unfortunately, it's a little bit back to the norm. Back to what we've seen too often. If you're coaching him, he would frustrate you because he's such a talent that he now has the ability to be able to hit 4 great shots, get the break.
Nicely done. Right shot at the right time there.
Love 30.
Just didn't quite do enough with that approach into the slot. Under pressure on his serve.
Decent smash on him. So you can back a punch with it.
15-30.
And he's shown a really nice positive attitude as well, hasn't he? It's always good to see.
It's brain for him to come to the net as well after being hurt the point before. So easy to say, well, that didn't work, so I'll explore something else.
Oh! 15-14.
This is the difficulty when there are no cheap points when you step up to the line. You've got to work hard for everything. Monfils responding well to the loss of that previous game. 2 points for a 6-5 lead here.
30-40. Monfils.
It didn't last very long, did it?
Monfils leads
Rear-guard action from the Portuguese number 1. Monfils back in the lead, and a chance perhaps for redemption here. 6-5. From a technical perspective, Barry, anything you'd like to change in Monfils' game?
I think it serves pretty solid. I'd say the volleys are okay. Certainly a willingness to come forward more. We've seen him serve and volley quite a lot already in this match. The forehand is a thing of beauty. Maybe slightly critical. You'd want more weight transference. But in terms of the actual swing, it's good.
Yeah, sometimes goes with the Nadal lasso a little bit, doesn't he? Rather than actually just hitting through the ball, generate a little more pace. But yeah, it's not huge holes in the game.
Time.
Plenty to work with, that's for sure. So a chance for Monfils to make amends here. Played a poor game when initially serving for the opening set at 5-4, squandering a whole host of set points along the way. Got a do-over now. Just made it.
15 love.
Well, if he meant it, it was exactly the right place to hit that volley.
Love.
Nice court coverage.
30-15.
Need good hands to be able to deal with that little half volley there. Just finished your service motion. Try that return deep up the middle of the court. Can be effective.
(40-15).
Swung at it, but got away with it. Now, this is where he lost concentration at 5-4. See if he's learned his lesson. That's more like it. An emphatic end to the set then.
Challenging the goal at the left service line. The ball was called in.
Well, let's hope it was an emphatic end.
What do you reckon, Jace?
Oh, that was good. Miles in. Decent serve. That'll do the confidence, the power of good. After that little hiccup at 5-4, Monfils wraps up the opening set. 7 games to 5 in a little under 3/4 of an hour.
Well, a set that was dominated by Monfils from the start. He got the early break. He lost concentration when he served for the opening set. And he bounced back to break at 5-all and no trouble in closing out. Incredible first serve percentage, 88%. Probably could do with a little bit more pace on that first serve and maybe sacrifice maybe 10% or so. But I think in terms of the way he hit the ball, he'd be fairly pleased. Probably not so delighted with the fact that he lost concentration.
Machado to serve.
Thanks to Jason Goodall. He's left for the evening now. Guy McCree joining Barry Cowan, still here. Second set to begin. Machado to serve.
Well, Jason's been tough on us today, so now that he's gone, we can get our own back.
I was saying that you know, basically he was firing off on various members of the team, and they had no right to reply. Well, this next set or two sets, let's not lay off on him. Interesting watching that opening set. I mean, as you were saying, Monfils, you never really thought he was going to lose it. It was a bit strange. He dropped his serve first of all. It smacks of what we've seen of him in the past. He got the set done, but really, if you're looking to make a stamp ahead of the year, surely you close that out 6-4. Terrific movement from both of them.
15-30.
He's such a phenomenal athlete. It's very difficult to hit a clean winner off the drop shot. He should have done a little bit more with that volley. Machado.
He's so quick around the court.
15-14.
Almost an identical point from the one before. Controlled by Machado. Just failing with the last volley.
That ability to slide on all surfaces. Wonderful on the clay, how he moves around in particular, but here as well. First break point.
30-14.
It's been a fascinating day's tennis with Tsonga struggling but getting through. Nadal, I thought he played well, but I heard a bit of his press conference. He said, "Oh, I didn't play well." Always hard on himself is Rafa, and Federer was
just being Roger, really.
Yeah.
There is the immediate break of serve. It's disappointing for the Portuguese.
First game, second set.
Monfils well in charge now, setting a break up.
Can't sit down, can you, at the beginning of the set?
They all do it though, don't they? This is another one on our list. We should have been writing these down through the day. It's an ever-lengthening list. You think there was nothing right with tennis?
It's going to have a tough opening month, isn't he, Brad Druitt?
Haven't even got on to calendar reform and all these sorts of issues to do it today.
Well, calendar reform, the first thing it has to start with is Australia moving. Until Australia moves, I think it's
very difficult to do a lot with the rest of the calendar. I'm with you there. Well done. What were you thinking with that march?
Yes.
15.
Yeah, because then you'd have the perfect, you'd have the Middle East going into the Far East, going into
Middle East stroke
Australia.
Asia Pacific. I mean, you could have some run-in tournaments where you have a proper run-in. Keep concentrating on this, of course, but I wonder then what you do with Indian Wells and Miami.
Well, I would like to see one of Indian Wells and Miami go just before the US Open.
Sure. Oh, yes. Oh, he's quite a showman.
14 love.
No, it really is an incredible shot.
Pass there, mate.
40-15.
The effective shot there.
Because by having Australia in March and having the Far East circuit before March, then the players don't have to worry about going to Asia after the US Open.
Yeah, because you have that well-established European swing. You can still have a good break after the slams, which I think the players appreciate. And it's difficult with Roland Garros and Wimbledon to do that, but the other two you can. You know, you can do this, you can build in things. Monfils, rubber stamping the break. Meanwhile, set and 2 love.
Love 15.
And when you play like Machado and you're setting a break down, there's always that tendency to start going out of your comfort zone, really, and start being too aggressive, bring in a few unforced errors.
Love 30.
It's starting to run away from him now. Just one further point on that, on the calendar issue. I mean, they missed a trick a little bit pushing Paris and London together as well. I'm wondering how that's going to work later on in the year. It's going to be intriguing because I think Paris is going to get hurt as a tournament big time.
Yeah, they haven't really thought of the history of that event, I don't feel. You know, how do you decide and advertise the top 8 for London? Because it could actually come down to the final in Paris.
Wonderful point. Both of them really enjoying themselves there, just unleashing tremendous power.
15-30.
What an incredible point and ending to the point. Some of those forehands that Monfils hit was all out.
Giving his seal of approval. It's become a rare point there for the Portuguese. Second set. The tide is firmly against him right now.
15-14.
Staring down the barrel of falling 2 breaks down.
It wasn't the greatest drop shot, but I like the play against someone like Machado because he doesn't possess the greatest of hands. So, and the fact that he's double-handed makes it difficult, and he doesn't volley like a, certainly like a top 5, top 10 player. That's been kind.
It's a terrible lead as well. Broken to 15. Monfils just cutting a path, a fine path through this opening rounder. Extends his lead even further now. 3-love second set. No, I just feel they missed a trick with Paris and London there. There was clamour there, what was it, the year before last when they did that. Felt that they needed to change something, and I'm sure they got it right. But I hope I'm wrong on that, but I just don't see how that's going to be an effective solution.
Well, why not move Paris the week before and then have in between Paris and the O2 have a 250 event? Because you could have the final of Paris and someone who's in the final having to play the next day, the first match in the World Tour Finals.
Because the whole point of this, that's the end of the year, the best 8 players. You want them there all for the... I know the WTA have had problems with that, trying to get all 8 there for the photo.
Yeah.
Because they've had Azarenka playing somewhere and not getting there in time. And I just think that's disappointing because you want all of them there. You want to really celebrate that event. By bunching it together like that, it's going to cause some problems, I think. Monfils totally on top. 3-love.
Love 15.
Only issue here really is just concentration with Monfils, which has obviously been an issue in the past.
It's a brilliant backhand.
15-0.
Made it look simple, as he's doing in the second set.
It's nicely done. He's found the mark.
15-13.
Well, Monfils had a brilliant backhand pass to break. That almost as good. And that's where it's sometimes difficult to fathom out Monfils. In the previous game, he hit a great drop shot to the backhand side. So why wouldn't you again hit the drop shot to the backhand? But it's almost like, well, that worked, but I've got to do something different the next time.
2 breakback points. One of them has been relinquished. Machado on the board.
Monfils leads 3-1.
I mean, the thing is, I know Jason Goodall, our colleague, thinks that he could be doing things going on this year. I'm not convinced. I don't know. I mean, he's a wonderful talent. It feels like we've been talking about him forever with the stunning junior career back 2004, when people were thinking, starting to herald him. Obviously, it takes a few years to transition, but we're now 2012. We're still saying the same thing. He's been top 10, but can he go further?
Well, I've always felt, Guy, that he would have that one great year, you know, almost like Verdasco. You know, it just clicked with the Spaniard. And when he does have that really good year, we'll find out where he can get to.
Yeah, been to the semis of the French, obviously, back in 08, lost to Federer. A couple of other Grand Slam quarterfinals. No major final yet, though.
He's still only won 4 titles with his ability.
Yeah, terrible record in finals, actually. A lot of final losses. 4-11. 4-11, that being Monfils' career finals record. 4 titles, you mentioned. Yeah, 11 losses.
First serve.
Federer was saying to me after his match that the court surface was fair. He found the conditions comfortable.
Well, he wasn't going to complain, was he? 54 minutes.
.30-15.
One is wide. Gets another game on the board, just gives Monfils a bit more to think about. Frenchman still in charge there, setting a break clear. Now the thing about Monfils as well, interested in your thoughts, Barry, on this. Put this to you first of all, that when we've got, I mean, when he's coming forward, it's wonderful, but he's very, very stubborn. He's been stubborn in the past in terms of how he plays. And he seems like he's happy just, and we see it a bit in this match, to lure people and just be parked well behind the baseline. That's not ultimately, if you're looking at someone who's going to threaten the top 5, reach a major final, that's surely not the way. He's got to come forward more.
Well, as Jason and I were saying, that there's a lot of sort of inconsistencies about the way he plays sometimes. I mean, in this match, he's served and volleyed a lot. But then tomorrow, providing he wins this match, you might see him not serve volley once, and as you said, be 10 feet behind the baseline. And he's got to have a game plan that he sticks to. But that comes with concentration.
Super serve, that one. That one out. He's shown glimpses, Machado, of quality. It's just it's been few and far between.
I think his real issue is that his serve is poor.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get anything from that first serve. That's a great volley from Monfils. Yeah, so he's always involved in
15.
rallies. You know, he never has the luxury of being able to get up there and win a couple of cheap points in a service game.
Yeah, she says the consistency, it's the concentration on the part of Monfils. I mean, Songa had that problem, but then Songa's put together last season, second half of the season, wonderful run of results. Should have missed that.
Monfils.
Monfils not wholly convincing in that game, but gets it done. A couple of games away.
No, he's done well here before. Monfils reached the final 6 years ago. Lost to Federer. Had a win against Nadal a few years ago. The great entertainer.
Knifed it.
Off 15.
Yeah, it's funny talking to so many people about Monfils. We've talked about him for a while. Unbelievable talent. And I think it boils down to the fact people just get frustrated because they don't feel he's maximising the talent. Is he ever going to fulfil that talent? That's the question.
Was that worth a shout? Maybe just caught the outside edge. Been quite productive with his backhand. He's actually hit more winners off that wing than the forehand. 6 on the backhand, 4 on the forehand. Machado.
30-50. Let.
Too much on it. Too much power. He's threatening another break. Another game on the board. Stays interested, just about. Set number 2. He's still at set and a break clear, though.
We are a global energy company with over 100 years of experience in energy. Working with national oil companies in energy production, chemicals, and refining.
Digest these, Barry.
Yeah, open stance backhand, which we see so often these days. And that was the end of that fantastic point. Improvised really well, did Machado. That's another one of his backhand winners. He's a good, solid player, but he doesn't have anything spectacular, and that's why he will always struggle against players in the top 50 on the main tour.
Yeah, the ranking doesn't lie, does it really? Especially when you've been around there. You're currently ranked at 68, 59 the high, October last year.
Time.
You sort of come to an event like this, you want a decent draw. The last thing you want is to play a Monfils or a Songa or first round.
As well as our wonderful statistics people pointed out, it's only a couple of hard court wins as well for Machado as well. Just all stacks up against him when you come on court against someone like Monfils.
Sorry, love.
Right at him.
30-15.
Really just wants to get this done, Monfils. Has the platform to do so. Wins it eventually. Monfils making him work really hard.
30-all.
Look at the ground he's covering again. Making Machado play another shot. But he makes that one look very easy. Not so. Tough shot to pull off. Monfils gets that game done.
Monfils leads 5 games to 3.
It's midnight here, late on. Those inside here are enjoying this performance from the Frenchman. Hour and 12 minutes for a set and 5-3. Serving to stay in the match, Portugal's Machado.
15. net. First serve. Oh! 30-15.
It's a bit wild from Monfils. Maybe just a bit too over-eager to get this done. Be conscious of the time, playing late here. On court late. It's only been on an hour and a quarter, but it is getting on a bit now. The players involved having to play each day. Tomorrow, second round. Thursday, quarterfinal. Friday, the semis, and then singles final on the Saturday. So, don't want to be hanging around any longer than you have to, with matches to come. And Monfils will have hopes, of course, of going all the way. Unleashes a bullet there. 2 points from getting his wish and getting it done. Always been a marquee shot of his, or the criticism with Monfils has been the backhand side.
Advantage Monfils.
Match point here for Monfils for the first time. Tried to give it the champagne finish. Chance there for Machado to have made the volley. He knows it.
Advantage.
It is the second match point now for Monfils. Really went for it on his first opportunity to close this out. Will he look to do the same? Play a little bit more conservatively. On that from the Portuguese.
Yes.
Surprised Monfils.
Left. First serve.
It is just long.
Advantage Monfils.
Line directly beneath our commentary position. third chance to get this done. Still we go on.
Yes.
Frenchman's going to get another chance. Machado just can't string enough consistency together. Long game, this one.
Advantage Jo Monfils.
Match point number 4.
All over this time.
Monfils.
Typical way to finish for Monfils.
7-5, 6-3.
21 minutes. Rui Machado hardly disgraced himself. Played Monfils fairly tough. Actually had some difficulties closing that one out in the end, but he does get it done in straight sets. The 4th seed safely through all the big 4 into the next round. Monfils the winner here. His fans will be very pleased about that, of course. 7-5 and 6-3. So hardly disgraced himself, the Portuguese player. Portugal's only top 100 player at the moment, ranked at 68, and kind of showed that level of performance. Pegged Monfils back at the end of the first set, but then lost it, and from that moment on, really got off to a terrible start in the early stages of the second. Couldn't really recover from that. That's why Monfils is the victor. It's a pretty long day here. Going to hopefully hear from Gael Monfils. Colleague Barry Cowan has made his way down on court to speak to the day's final winner here. Here's Barry Cowan with Gael Monfils.
Well, Gael, well done. Difficult conditions, but you managed to get through.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, stuff. It's a bit cold, and I play with sleeveless, so it's colder. But actually, you know, for the first match of the year, I was happy the way I played.
Yeah, you played some really good tennis. What happened at 5-4 when you served for the set? You're up 40-love. Did you lose a little bit of concentration?
Well, he hit like 2 passing shots, like great, and yeah, maybe I was maybe a bit too confident. But then, you know, I think I changed a bit my style. I'm going more in front. I'm going more to the net. So, you know, I was happy the way I played.
Yeah, we saw you serve and volley a lot in this match. Is that something we're going to see more of this year?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I work on that a lot, and so far it's good.
Well done and welcome back.
Thank you.
Thoughts there of Gael Monfils speaking to our very own Barry Cowan. Looking to keep it brief. I think he wants to get off court and go through the rest of his commitments and get home, back to the hotel. Can't blame him on that one. Monfils the winner, 5-3 here, hour and 21 minutes. Just really in control. Very good first serve percentage. That's what most of his game is. Bossed around and keeping the winner unforced error ratio even as well. You can see there Machado, just too many loose shots that he gave Monfils. The 4th seed, just pretty routine victory in the end, you've got to say. 5-3 there. So the second round draw is complete. That'll take to the courts here on Wednesday. Gael Monfils booking his place. He'll play Benjamin Becker, someone we saw on the opening day. Also there, Matthias Battinger coming through the battle of the qualifiers. He plays the 5th seed Viktor Troitsky in round 2. That was the top half of the draw. And can have a look at the results now for you of the day. Dennis Grömelmeyer coming through against Petito Staracci. And as we say there, the battle of the qualifiers won by the German Battinger 3 and 4. Ivo Karlovic, good win for him. And also Jo-Wilfried Tsonga we saw seeing off the spirited challenge of Malek Jaziri, the Tunisian wildcard in 3. So the 3rd seed also through to round 2. Other results, Gregor Zemlya, seeing a man who did well here last year, Sergei Bubka Jr. in 3 sets. Guillermo Garcia-Lopez, also a 3 sets winner. Mikhail Yuzhny's involved, 7th seed, a winner over Ernest Gulbis, and we saw Rafa Nadal come through in 3 against Philippe Kohlschreiber. A couple more results. The last couple of results we brought you here on the live coverage. Roger Federer just 54 minutes to dispatch Nikolai Davydenko, and Gael Monfils we've just seen winning through in 1 hour and 21 minutes over Rui Machado of Portugal. Here's the order of play then, coming up for tomorrow. Round 2 taking to the courts. First up, Jo-Wilfried Tsonga in action again, not before 3:30 local time against Flavio Cipolla. Then it's Rafael Nadal in action, Roger Federer as well, and Gael Monfils. We have all the big 4 on the main court again to bring you. There we have it then. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage. For now, though, from myself, Guy McCree, Jason Goodall, Barry Cowan, and Robbie Koenig, it's goodbye for now.
Tsonga. Ciao for you, man. Receive. Good match, guys.
Yeah, Brazil. Yeah, man, first set Tsonga. Game, Cinema, Soccer. 2 sets to 1. 7-6, 6-7, 6-1.
Jo-Wilfried Stronger, ladies and gentlemen.
Any questions? 5 minutes warm-up. Huh? Philippe, heads. That's it. He receives. Good match.
Game, Nadal. Game in second set. Coach. Game, second match, Nadal. 6-3, 6-7, 6-3.
Okay, any question? Heads or tails? Heads. Heads for you. You serve? Okay, good match. Thank you.
Game at first set. Federer. 6 games to 2. Love. Game, David. Game, set match, Federer. 2 sets to love. 6-2, 6-2.
Per set and 1 additional if it is a tiebreak. Do you have any question about anything? No? Roy, head or tails? Gael. Receive. Good match.
7-5, 6-3.